Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tipsy Talker. I am your amazing host, Mr. Tipsy. Not to mention, I have my Mr. Tipsy shirt on. That's right, it's a Mr. Tipsy tank top that Mrs. Tipsy made me. So I have that on, so I'm styling, even though you can't see me. It is what it is. Trust me, I have it. It's awesome. All right. So on today's episode, I figured I'd just talk some random stuff about maybe reach out to the guys on this one. Maybe reach out to them on like a mechanical level or a DIY level. I'm not saying that the females can't do it, because they definitely can. They could do everything we can do. I've seen some amazing girl mechanics. I've seen girls do their thing with home projects, and some of them have a better eye than we do, guys. Let's face it. They see a vision, they do it, it looks amazing. It is what it is. But there are guys out there that don't get no credit. So let's talk about just some random DIYers. All right. So let's get into this, mofo. Start talking some shit. All right. Do you have your drink? Hope so. Do you have your cigarettes? Hope so. I figure I'm going to run this guy for about 50 minutes or so, 45, 50 minutes. So let's talk about some stuff. All right, let's go ahead, get into it. Here we go. DIYers, let's face it. In today's world, you need a DIYer. Because if not, you're calling some fucking business that's going to rip you the hell off. That's what's going to happen. They're going to charge you out the ass to do something that you could have done in 10 minutes. Let's face it, it's true. Now, there's two separate things that you can think about here. Number one, do I want to do it? That's the big thing nowadays. As people start to get older, they're like, you know what? I know I can do it. Do I want to do it? Fuck no. Let somebody else do it. Got the money? Spend it. Fuck it. Let somebody else do that shit. However, then you have like your auto mechanics charging you $150 an hour in labor for something you could have done to save you 4 hours worth of labor outside in your garage. Right? Am I right? Yes, I am. And a lot of times, like in the business I work at, people are like, yeah, I took it to this mechanic or this garage, and he was saying, oh yeah, like we can fix that. This is what it is. It's going to be about 3 hours. So you're looking at like four or $500 in labor. The part itself isn't that bad. It's only like $150. But all said and done, you're looking at $7, $8, $9, $1,000. Let's face it, guys. In today's world, ain't nobody want to give no fucking $1,000 to get your car fixed, especially if you can do it yourself, right? Exactly. So a lot of people, I'm talking like, I'm sure the percentages went up. I haven't done percentages. I could have, but I would say about 80% of today's people, like 80% of the population today would rather try and fix their car themselves. Hell, and not even their car. They would rather fix a hole in their wall. They would rather try to fix their plumbing. They would rather fix their car. Whatever the case may be, they would rather do it themselves to try to save that labor rate. I mean, it's fair. I do. I remember, so let me take you back. Let me take you way back. When Mr. Tipsy was just a youngster. So, oh my God, the first car I ever changed the tire on was some piece of shit Pinto. It was an orange Pinto, maybe like an 83 or something like that. Oh my God, it was a horrible car. It was bright orange. It belonged to my stepfather, which he was an idiot, and I didn't like him. That's a whole different Mr. Tipsy, because me and him got into it, and that is a whole different Mr. Tipsy. However, it was snowing, and his car was stuck down in Lancaster. It was down on Water Street or something like that. It had a flat tire. And he was like, "Hey, you think you can go down there and change my tire? Blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "I don't know. I've never done it before." He's like, "Oh, well, it's not that hard. You got to put a jack underneath it, and you lift it up, and you take the bolts off, and you pull the old tire off, and you put the new tire on, and you tighten all the bolts up, and you put the jack down, and you call it a day." I'm like, "Well, it sounds easy enough. Well, I might be able to do it. Let me try it." Lo and behold, go down there, find that hunk of shit car of his, which, oh my God, there's so many stories around that car. Anybody that knows me knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's so funny. I find the car, I jack it up, I change the tire, boom. Now, I did a very good job. And that was the first thing that was anywhere close to being automotive related to me that I did. Change the tire. And I was 13? Yeah, that sounds about right. I was about 13 years old. Change the tire. Then I started getting into brakes and rotors. So that was my next step. Not really sure how it happened. Can't remember who it was. All I remember is, "Hey, I need brakes and rotors. Can you do it?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I changed the tire, so I think I can do it." But it worked out. I changed brakes and rotors on a vehicle. I don't remember who it was, what kind of car it was. Don't remember. Did it. Everything worked out great. And now, back then, there was no internet. There was no, well, let me go and YouTube a video to see how this is done. There wasn't none of that. It was pretty much, you got to figure it out. Pull it off, put it back on, figure it out. You got this. So, yeah. So I did brakes and rotors, and then I remember him coming to me once again because he needed a rack and pinion installed. His rack and pinion went out. I don't remember the car. I know that he had a Boss Mustang 302 at the time, but I don't remember if it was that car, if it was something else. Honestly, I just can't remember. It's been so long. Excuse me. Excuse me. But he was like, "Hey, can you help me put this rack pinion in?" And I'm like, "I have never, ever done this before. Oh my God, are you serious?" So we both did it. And he was like, "Yeah." And no, sorry. Hold on, let me go back. What I mean by we both did it was, he kind of told me what I needed to do, and I did all the work. So that's what I meant by we both did it. But I did it. I pulled the rack out, disconnected the lines, got that taken care of. So then I had brakes under my belt. I did a rack, a whole rack. So the rack usually comes included with the inner tie rod ends, but then you had the outers. So then there was the point of alignment. So you get it as close as you can, honestly. But if you're working on a vehicle and you don't have access to an alignment rack, you're pretty much, "Hey, listen to me. I did this for you, but you need to take this right away and get an alignment, because if not, your tires are done. And if your tires are good, you don't want to ruin them. And nobody wants to spend $700 for a set of tires, right?" So you always tell them, "Look, got this done for you. Take it, get an alignment right away. Save your tires." After that, I believe I got pretty comfortable. So I got the rack done, inner and outer, the outer tie rod ends. I knew how to do brakes. I've worked on exhaust. Obviously, nobody likes exhaust. Exhaust sucks. Did a couple of brake line jobs, little things like that. I think the biggest part was when my daughter, little hoochie mamas, she had bought a Chevy Cavalier, and the guy pretty much said, "Hey, that's a good car." So the car itself was great. No rust, no issues with it. The interior was great. However, somebody had pulled the engine apart because it needed a new head, a cylinder head. I don't know if you want me to be appropriate or whatever. You need a new cylinder head. So the whole top part of the engine, it needed that. She asked me, she's like, hey, Dad, are you able to fix this? I'm like, I think so. I think I can do that for you. So she bought the car. We got the title transferred. We trailered the car back home. We came up here, and I went to Advance Auto Parts, and I ordered a cylinder head for this car. The cylinder head at the time, this was a long time ago. I think the cylinder head was only $100. It wasn't bad. And then the gasket kit, I believe, was another 60 or 80 bucks. It was like 400 bucks altogether. So it wasn't horrible. But I ordered the stuff, came in, picked it up, and brought it home, and I fixed the car. I put the head gasket on, I put the new cylinder head on, I torqued everything down. And that's another thing, like when you're working on an internal engine, please, for the love of God, make sure that you pay attention to the torque specs. They're there for a reason. Do it the right way the first time. That way you're not going back and ruining anything. I know that there are probably a lot of people that, yep, that's snug, that's tight, let's go, we're good. No, don't do that. It's got a torque sequence that you have to follow. And it does have your, like, how far they need to be torqued down. It tells you that. There's research. You can go online. You can get your sequence, you can get your foot-pounds, whatever you need to do, make sure you do it. Don't just tighten it down and call it a day. Don't do that, because then you're going to have to end up somewhere along the line replacing it anyway. It's not worth it. Do it right the first time. However, moving on. Get the cylinder head, get the gasket kit, put the gasket kit on, put the cylinder head down, torque it down to spec, valve cover gaskets, all intake manifold, exhaust manifold, the whole entire thing. Boom, get it all put back together. Car starts up. Perfectly fine. And that's another thing, like when you sit back and you think about, wow, I did that. Whatever the case may be, whether it be automotive, whether it be electrical, whether it be drywall, carpeting, flooring, whatever the case may be, a new refrigerator with a water line, whatever the case may be. If you do it yourself and you do it right and everything works perfectly, that feeling that you get, like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I'm the man. Now, you don't brag about it, obviously, because, A, you're a man. You're not going to brag about it. But in your mind, you're like, ha, 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 I'm the shit. I am the shit. I did that. Outside, you're like, yep, I got that taken care of for you. You should be good to go. That's all there is. So, every man thinks the same. Every man's got a grin on his fucking face when shit goes right. Every man also will scream, curse, yell, and throw shit if things aren't going right. Hey, that's just what you gotta put up with it. It is what it is. It happens. Let him alone. If he's frustrated, walk the fuck away. Just leave him alone. Things will get better, and he will allow you to know when they get better. But yeah, so I got little Hooch's engine all put back together, and it was great because it was her birthday, I believe. I'm like, hey, I got something for you. I sent her a video. And I'm like, here it goes. And then, you know, in the video, you see me starting the car up and leaving with it. After her car, there was a friend of mine who got a hold of me, and he was like, hey, I just bought this Chevy Venture minivan, but it's overheating. I think it needs intake gaskets. Well, the problem was head gaskets. At the time, we didn't know that. I didn't know that. So I was like, okay, well, like, how much do you want for it? I think it's like $700 or something like that. I'm like, all right, that's cool. So I get the van, and I told the lady, I'm like, look, he's saying it has a problem overheating. So Mrs. Tipsy goes down, she grabs the van. I said, hey, listen. I said, so keep an eye on the temperature gauge. If you see it starting to go over like 195, like if you see it starting to go over the middle, excuse me, pull over, shut it down, sit there and wait for a little bit, let it get cool so you can get the rest of the way here. So that's what she did. She did call me. She was like, yep, it started getting over a little over 195. I pulled over. I let it cool down. I'm like, all right. She's like, and then I started back up, and it was like down in between cold and in the middle. I'm like, okay. She's like, so I drove it the rest of the way home. I'm like, good. So it turns out that it was not the intake manifold gasket. It turns out that it was a head gasket, which meaning that the cylinder head had to come off the vehicle and a new set had to be put in. Now, it was just the head gaskets. Now, I had never done one on a Chevy Venture before. I can't remember what engine's in there, 3.2, 3.5, something like that. So I reached out to a friend of mine who ran a garage. I will let you know his name because he is a very good guy, very knowledgeable guy, very friendly guy, very honest guy. His name is Jerry, and he runs a shop called Automotive Masters. That is on Route 30 on Lincoln Highway. He is in there with Burlington Coat Factory, the driver's license center. He's back there. Very good guy, very honest guy, does amazing work. He is not horribly priced. He's a very good guy. So I called Jerry, and I was like, hey, so here's the deal for you. I just bought a Chevy Venture minivan. It's overheating. He's like, yep, it's a head gasket. I'm like, okay. He's like, I literally just did one. They're common. It's a common issue. They're well known for it. I just did one. I'm like, how much was that? He's like, $3,000. $3,000. And this was, oh my God, this was 15 years ago. And I was like, oof, that's steep. He's like, yeah. He's like, honestly, it's not that bad. You don't have to mess with no timing or anything. He's like, if you buy the kit, the head gasket set, and you do the work yourself, take a couple of hours, but I think you might be able to do it. That's what I did. So I went into Advance Auto Parts there on Lincoln Highway. I bought the head gasket set. The head gasket set was, I think, like $160, something like that. It wasn't horrible. And the head gasket set came with every single gasket that you needed to replace to do the whole job, to replace everything. So I was like, this is all I need. Yep, that's all you need. All right. So buy the head gasket set, bring it home. I had off Saturday and Sunday. I'm like, let me try this out. Let me see what I got here. Make a long story short, I had the van up and running with a new head gasket set in probably, I would say, oh man, excuse me. I'm coughing and sneezing. What the fuck's going on here? I had the van up and running in probably about 6 hours. First time trying it. So, excuse me. And we had that van for probably, oh my God, 5 years maybe? Man, I keep sneezing. I'm sorry. 5 years, probably. And the only reason that the van, well, actually, no, that one we sold. Mrs. Tipsy's friend needed a van. We had actually got like a Ford Expedition or something like that. And we didn't really need the van anymore. And one of Mrs. Tipsy's friends was like, hey, I would like to have a van. And they had that van, I believe, for another 5 years before, I don't know, they either sold it or got rid of it, I don't know, but it was fine. But yeah, like, so after that, it was, well, my God, I've already torn an engine apart. So I did it on the Cavalier. I did another one on the Venture. So then it kind of became normal. So I had brakes under my belt, rack pinion under my belt, brake shoes. Brake shoes suck, but it is what it is. You can always figure that out. I mean, I don't like doing rear drum brakes, but I do them. It is what it is. It's not that bad. And then you got like, once you start tearing engines apart and you're in there and you got half the engine torn apart, it's not that bad. Honestly, it really isn't. Anything else in there, EGR valves, oxygen sensors, radiators, water pumps, all that stuff comes natural. It does. Um, so, Mr. Tipsy here, I feel like that I'm a jack of all trades. When it comes to vehicles, I have it. I've torn out so many engines. I have replaced so many engines. I have rebuilt so many engines. Anything that comes along with it, you name it, I can do it. You got everything internal. Like I said, you got radiators, you got water pumps, you got thermostats, you got engines, you got the heads, you got the blocks, you got crankshaft harmonic balancers, you got proportioning valves in the brakes, you got master cylinder if you're working on an automatic. If you're working on a manual, you have the master cylinder, you got the slave cylinder, you got all the lines that connect all that stuff. Air filters obviously is the easiest one. Oil changes also very easy, very easy. Tires, I have a tire. So Mrs. Tipsy and I believe one of the kids, maybe two of the kids, went in on a Harbor Freight tire changer for me, which I I felt that I was never going to use. Lo and behold, I was wrong. I actually used it. I have a 1993 Honda Del Sol, and it was sitting out back all winter long, and the tire went flat, and I tried to get it out of its hole, and it was bad. Anyway, make a long story short, I got it out of its spot because it was parked in the grass, and the tire was flat. Jacked the car up, took the tire off, brought it into the garage, used my Harbor Freight tire changer. Believe it or not, I got the whole tire off of the rim, cleaned it all out, and reset it, and got it back on the rim, filled it back up, and the tire is perfectly fine. Can't believe it. I cannot believe I did that. That made me happy because I was like, so A, my Harbor Freight tire changer actually worked, number one. Number two, I can't believe that I actually did that. Now, I have a buddy who runs a garage, and he has one of the professional tire changers and balancers and all that. But I did it at home, so it gave me that sense of accomplishment, the sense of pride. Like, hey, I got this. I can do this. So, yeah. So as far as automotive is concerned, got it. No big deal, is what it is. I used to have a bunch of friends that would ask me to do stuff. I don't really have that too much anymore. I remember there was a time that I was into car audio. Oof, man, that was probably anywhere from the age of 19 to 23, maybe. There was a place in Lancaster, I'm not going to give out their name because it's not cool. However, they were starting out and they were doing car audio. It was a littler shop. It wasn't your Weeby Audio or your Best Buy. It was not the good guys. It was a littler shop in Lancaster that just had opened up, and they said, quote unquote, we specialize in car audio. Let me tell you, they did not specialize in shit, because I probably redid at least 5 of their stereo systems. It was absolutely horrible. They were wiring their front speakers together, their rear speakers together. They were wiring amps into the rear speakers. They were just bunching them all together, putting electrical tape on them. Oh my God, it was so horrible. So horrible. When you install a stereo, first off, it's brainless. The aftermarket car stereo will have your front left, your front right, your rear left, your rear right, as far as interior speakers are concerned, okay? And not to mention, they're all color-coded. Alright. So, it's fucking simple. Very simple. All you gotta do is hook up your harness. You plug it into the factory stereo, and it's all color-coded. Left channel gets negative and positive, right channel gets negative and positive. Same for the rear, negative and positive. These guys were wiring all this shit together. So, like, if you were listening to a song that was playing left and right, you wouldn't hear one of the sides. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. So people were coming to me and are like, just have my stereo installed at this place. But it doesn't sound that great. Can you look at it and see what's going on? Yeah, I can look at it. And that's what they were doing. It was just a horrible installation, very horrible. So I pulled out all their crap, and let me tell you, they were just twisting all the wires together and putting electrical tape around them. Yep, that's what they were doing. It was like the most ghetto install that you've ever seen in your entire life. I am a shade tree mechanic, and I could do a hell of a lot better job than that, which I did. So I would pull their stuff. I would pull out all the work that they did, and I would get them together. I would put butt connectors on. I would heat shrink everything. Left negative, right left positive, right negative, right positive. Boom, 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 boom. When I was done, the system sounded so much better. It sounded so much clearer, so crispy. Everybody was like, "Oh my god!" And let me tell you, the word spread. I was getting text messages from people, dude, I know you did this guy's stereo. I just got mine done there too. It sounds like crap. Can you fix me up? I probably was doing, oh my god, I can't even remember. I know I did at least 10 of them in like a very short, I would say maybe like a year and a half time period. Yeah, it was horrible. But the sound was amazing when I was done. So that's one thing that I look back on, and you get that accomplishment. Like, I did this. I was self-taught. Oh my God, believe it or not, I went to CTC for masonry. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. Fucking masonry. A skill that I have never, ever, ever in my life used. Ever. Don't know why I went there, but when I was in Willow Street, it's Willow Street Photech. That's what I took up. I took up masonry. But I remember going there, and I remember like we would go on lunch break, and we would have to walk past Auto Body. And I looked in the window, and I saw like what they were doing with these cars. Now later on in life, I figured out or I heard that people would donate their cars. Well, they would be like, yeah, you can take my car in there and get the body work done. So they would allow the Wall Street Photech to practice their skill on their beat up car. And they would turn these cars into like great looking cars. And I remember looking in the windows, like, wow, that looks awesome. And you see the progress. As weeks go on, you see this thing, the first week pulls in, it looks like a big hunk of shit. And then 3 weeks in, you can kind of see it's getting a little better. And then 5 weeks in, it's even better than that. And by the end of the semester, you're like, holy shit, like that's that car? Like, look how great that car looks. I really wish that I would have taken auto body when I was in school. And the only reason that I wish that is because I didn't know that I was going to be into mechanics so well. If I would have known that, then I would have taken auto body. No idea. I was just kind of like, well, masonry, it's construction, it's a good business. Masonry sucks. I hated every second of it, just so you know. So, I wish, if I had one wish, if I could go back and have one, like do something over again, it would have been that. It would have been, I'm not doing masonry, I'm doing auto body. I want to learn that auto body skill, and I wanted to accompany that with my auto mechanics. I would be a one-stop shop. Maybe it might have been good for me, maybe not. But I would like to have that knowledge under my belt. I really would. So, moving on, let's talk about, home projects. Let's talk about that. So, hold on a minute. So, home projects. Sorry, my microphone died. Had to get a new one. Sorry about that. Yeah, so home projects for the guys. Whatever you want to do. What do we got? Oh my God, there's so many. There's so many different things. I would say that I want to talk about drywall. Drywall is something that I have become rather good at over the years. Don't choose to do it anymore so much. Only because I'm getting older. And the older I get, the weaker I get, the more tired I get. So it's not as easy for me as it used to be. But I will take you back to that story. So when I first started drywall, I lived on St. Joseph Street in Lancaster. And obviously a lot of kids like to room in the attic, right? Am I right or am I wrong? So a lot of kids like to room in the attic. I had the attic and it was unfinished, obviously, and there was plaster and stuff up there, but I think that somebody had started, because they started to run like little strips of wood there to maybe put some insulation up and do some dry, but it never happened. So I started working. Oh my God, I was probably 16 at the time. And I was like, you know what? I would like to redo this and put some drywall up here and try to get all fancy schmancy. Now at the time, I did do that. So I will let you know that I went to the Home Depot, I bought drywall, I got tape, I got joint compound, I brought everything home, I carried everything upstairs, and I started to do it. Now, was my job professional? Absolutely fucking not. It looked like shit. Okay, it looked like shit. I did the best I could, and I kind of got the gist down, and it didn't look horrible, but it definitely didn't look professional either. That's funny. Yeah, because I'm replaying what it looked like in my mind now, and I'm like, oof, oh my God, that's so horrible. But then I thought, oh, I'm the man. I am the man. I got this up here. I measured it. I cut it. It's together. You don't see any more of the plaster. And in all fairness, you didn't. And then I got the tape. I put the tape up, put the joint compound up. So it was there. There was chunks kind of missing here and there. It wasn't the greatest. It wasn't. I'm going to keep it real with you. It wasn't the greatest. But I got the gist down of it. Like, what needs to happen, I got that part down. And because I didn't do it every day, it was kind of like, it's something that I knew how to do because I knew how to do it, but because I didn't do it every day, it wasn't the greatest. Obviously, a professional drywaller does that every day. They come in, boom, slap that shit up, bam, 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 get the mud on there, sand it down, boom, it looks brand new. Everybody does it. Anybody that does it every day, that's how it is. Somebody that is a weekend, quote unquote, weekend warrior, yeah, obviously it's not gonna be like that. However, I do. Here and there, I throw some drywall up. I do some filling and stuff like that. But I would say that my biggest project was our basement. So my son Nobby, he wanted kind of like a workout room. And I was all for it. I'm like, that would be cool. I honestly would like that. And our basement it's dingy. Now, we have a split house. So the next door house here that we're connected to, it used to be way back in the day, all one house, and they split it right down the middle. Their side over there has all dirt flooring. We got lucky on our side. We have a piece of poured concrete, but it was like a slab of concrete. So I would say it was probably like, I don't know, 20 foot worth of concrete, and then all the rest was like dirt floor. So I said to him, I was like, so this is what we can do. We can frame it up down there. We can put some drywall in there. make it really nice for you. He had one of those the speed balls that you hit. We also had a weight bench and oh my God, we call them a punch bag, and that's what he was into that. I want anything fitness related, workout related. I want that. That's what I want. So go down, and with his help, we framed the whole basement off, and it looked beautiful. We made walls, we made doors. The whole basement just looked absolutely beautiful when I was done. We put new lighting in. We put a speed bag up. We put a punch bag up. We got the weight bench set up down there, and it was just awesome. We had some cars. Now, I'll let you know, unfortunately, over time, the basement leaked. So carpet got ruined. We got mold down there, so we couldn't be down there anymore. And then he moved. He got older, and he moved out, and he took I believe he took his punch bag with him. He took a speedball with him. He left the weight bench. I eventually moved the weight bench out to the garage, and I used that for a little while. And then I got another machine, but I ended up selling that too because I got fat and old and lazy. So, so it is what it is. But when we were done with the basement, it looked amazing. I'm talking, we drywalled off the stairs, and we made a closet in there, and everything was drywalled. We had new lights up, we had carpet, we had shelves down there. It was just amazing. And to sit back, if you walk down there, I actually had my next door neighbor walk down there because he knew what the basement looked like before. And he walked down, he was like, wow, this really looks good. He's like, I couldn't believe it. I ended up doing the same thing with our bathroom. Actually, I did the whole upstairs, ripped apart the ceiling. It's all plaster. Ripped that off, got all that taken care of, did drywall upstairs. Some of the rooms, the plaster was falling down. There was holes in the walls. I re-drywalled the whole entire upstairs. So I got so much better at it. But the fact is, you're looking back on it. You look back, you do what you gotta do, and you look back and you're like, wow, this is amazing. It's that same accomplishment. That's what I'm talking about. Like when you fix a car, you fix it, it runs fine, you have that smile on your face or that sense of accomplishment. Like, I did that. I did it by myself. And not only did I do it by myself, but it's running perfectly. It's running fine. I did that. Same thing with the house. You do the drywall, you fix the holes, you cover it all up, you sand it down nice and smooth, you paint it. It's flawless. So you stand back and you look at that and you're like, wow, that's amazing. I did that. I get that sense of accomplishment, and it doesn't hurt to have Mrs. Tipsy in the background telling me how much of a good job I do. Even though I know that there are some times when I'm like, and she still tells me I do a good job. Which I know she's lying, but she's only trying to make me feel better, which I appreciate. But it's just, I think that as a man growing up in today's world, women that don't know that stuff and guys that were taught that stuff through their parents, it kind of goes hand in hand. Like, as a woman, most women, I'll say 50% because I'm really not sure what it could be. But most women are raised that this is the man's job. Let your man take care of that. And that's old school. Like, your dad does that. Your dad's out there fixing this. Go out, learn from him. He'll show you what it does. There are some girls out there that go out there and they sit and they watch their dads and they learn this stuff and they're like, I don't need no man. I can do this shit all by myself. But then there are girls out there that are like, oh, I'd rather not. I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea. Hopefully I can just find a man that does it. So I would say, what, 50-50? We'll say 50-50. I'm sure it's not that. I'm sure that there are girls out there that are all about it, and I'm sure that there are girls out there that don't want anything to do with it. But that's where their men come in. Honestly, That's where their men come in, and they're supposed to be taking over and doing what they got to do, and hopefully they see that stuff and they take it. And if not, that's okay. It is what it is. So, yeah, there's a lot of different things that DIYers can do to make them feel accomplished, to make them feel happy, to make them feel proud. I mean, there's so much more. So much more that I can go into. But I figured I'd just, kind of touch on the basics. There are a lot of people out there that have parents that have given them the skills to do whatever. I'm talking about carpentry, I'm talking about framing, drywalling, carpets, flooring, water, like electric water heaters, things like that. There's so much. And, it definitely stems from the parents. If you are a parent and you have the skill to pass down to your children, definitely do it. Teach them everything you know. Give them a little bit of hand in life. It's definitely not a waste of time. They will use it sometime in their life. Trust me, they will. And that's a good thing. That's kind of like a jump start. Or even if it's just like I got this. Don't worry about it. We don't have to bring in any professional to do it. I got it. I know. My dad taught me this. Or my mom taught me this. So definitely something that we can pass on to our kids. Knowledge, the know-how, pass down and say, hey, you got this. And if you're still up and running as a parent, if you're still alive, hey, Dad, I'm not really sure about this. Can you come over and teach me, show me how to do it? Can you help me out with this? That's what we're here for as parents. That's what we're here for. So, yes. Yep. Got to work in this day and this day, but yes, I will be over. I'll help you out. I'll take care of it. I'll show you how to do it, whatever the case may be. Yeah, so just a little bit of that. I've always been one to do kind of like DIY projects. I fix things. Washer, dryer, cars, lawnmowers, houses, little things like that. I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything, and honestly, you have to. As a parent, as a husband, you have to figure it out. You have to kind of be the quote unquote man of the house. You have to do that. So learn as much as you can throughout life. Try to figure it out. If you have to bring in somebody, then do it. But that feeling that you get as a parent, as a dad, when you don't worry about it, I got it, you're good to go. That feeling is a very accomplished, very settled feeling. Very wonderful feeling, by the way. Yeah, so I think I'm probably going to end this here. I know it's not one of my longer ones, but that's okay. I think my longer podcast kind of tire you out. You don't want to listen to it all. So I want to keep them to about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, maybe an hour tops. Yeah, but I think I will end this podcast now. Like I always say, if you have any questions, comments, or anything that you want to say, you can always drop me a line in the notes there. I will take a look at it. I will go from there. I usually end my podcast with a quote. And I was thinking of one the other day. I was fishing. So I thought about this quote. Unfortunately, we are forced to live one day at a time. So make sure that you live each day to its fullest. Enjoy the great days and move past the bad ones. And try to make the good ones great memories. You only have one life to live, so live each day to the fullest. Until next time, everybody, I am Mr. Tipsy, signing off. Have a great night, everybody, and I will talk to you soon.